Remember that little test that we did where you press down?
Oh, right.
And then remember when you found out when you had a shoulder
Had to
issue?
get surgery, yeah.
Yeah. All the doctor did was push down his shoulder, told Johnny to go up. He's a righty. Normally his right shoulder, right arm would be much stronger, but you went down. And he said, yeah, your shoulder's weak. Like there are simple things that you can do to test where you're at. And so where we're recommending is that, find a certified trainer, get tested, see what your deficiencies are, come up with a simple program, whether it's a throwing program, off-season program, or strength and, mobility and recovery program. It is important that the off-season is not just for getting strong, but from recovering from something that maybe you need to recover from.
Yeah, there are days you build in for recovery, like there's active recovery and there's recovering with days off, where you just do something less physical, whereas active recovery is you're doing certain activities that seem taxing, but they're not considered your actual training regimen. Hey, welcome back to All Things Baseball Podcast, episode 39. We're back with the off-season training, and we got a special one cooked up for you today.
Wow, that's a lot of personality there.
Well, we're back off a little bit. We had a little bit of a summer break.
We took a couple of weeks off, and what were you doing? You were scuba diving. You were in the Himalayas, praying with the.
No, I was working
monks.
on some music. Just watching some baseball. We're going to talk a little bit about that. The playoffs are right around the corner. October season.
Yeah.
And, a lot of teams are in the hunt still. It's, one more series to go for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, so before we talk about any of this, like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, whatever that means. We need your help. So like and subscribe right now. This is going to be a good one. But seriously, we want to talk about the off-season training program for the young kids.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is for them. It's their off-season.
Yep.
But before we do that, we're going to talk about just what's going on in the major leagues right now. The Yankees just clinched.
Boom, against the White Sox. We, as of today, we have tied in our division with the Blue Jays now.
Our division. You're a Yankee now.
I'm a Yankee now. Always have been. No, they're tied with the Blue Jays, 90 wins each as of this recording.
Right.
We're hoping when this comes out that the Yankees have won the division.
So real quick, what happened to the Detroit Tigers?
Oh no!
Sorry,
Briggs.
What's going on? Well, they're still in it.
Yeah, it looks like the last couple weeks, it's just something kind of imploded.
Their big lead has dwindled, and now they're actually a game behind. So for Briggs' sake, the Guardians are a nice team, but I obviously would like to see the Tigers in there.
Yeah, coming from last year's playoff push, there was a lot to build on, and they certainly were building on it this year. It's just, when your teams go cold, it can come at the wrong times.
Yeah.
You would want your teams to stay hot all the way to the end, from 3/4 of the season towards the end. So,
so we won't go through every team and all the races, but we just wanted to, since it's that time of year where it's a playoff push, we just wanted to mention it.
Phillies, Dodgers.
Right, they're in it. Didn't San Diego clinch?
Cubs and Brewers. Yep.
Okay, so quick prediction. Who's going to make the World Series? Which two teams?
Quick prediction. Have some love for our team, the Yankees. I think they're going to go at it with either a rematch with the Dodgers, or possibly the Phillies. Yankees, Phillies.
Just to be contrarian, I'm going to go Seattle. They've been
staying hot, yeah, for sure.
And I'm going to go. Well, I'll go with the Phillies.
Seattle and Phillies.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seattle and Phillies, which is not going to be exciting for the rest of the country.
No, but I think to us that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think. Listen, you want to see good baseball.
Cal's on an historic run.
Cal Raleigh, yeah.
He's had a great year. Well, broken records for catchers, surpassed Johnny Bench.
Right.
In the home run category. And, Phillies played some great baseball. They had a late pickup in, what's his face, from the Red Sox. Pitched with the Dodgers last year. And
Buehler?
Yeah, Buehler. Yeah. The Phillies got him, and he's been He's been pitching pretty well for them back as a starter. So, I mean,
Yeah, sometimes they just need a change of scenery, get them
definitely.
back in their groove, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
So, yeah, a lot of things to watch out for.
So we'll be talking
Yeah.
about the World Series and the playoffs and all that stuff. This podcast, though, it's getting back to really what I think is our bread and butter, and that is youth baseball. And
Mm-hmm.
last time we did an episode on hitting for youth
Mm-hmm.
baseball, really focus on contact versus power, which
Mm-hmm.
seems to be everybody's focus in training.
Not as popular,
Yeah.
contact over power, but
Right. But now this is a kind of a part one. This is going to be a short episode, really just for those who are listening that are in the little league to middle school age. This represents a time period where a lot of people they're not playing.
mm-hmm.
Some people are playing fall ball, right?
Yeah.
But most baseball players take off usually young players between October and January. And then
Yeah.
January, they start back up again and get ready for their middle school seasons or their high school seasons,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, fine tune the skills. Time to add a little bit of muscle. You always lose a little bit of muscle in the actual season.
very
So,
true. Very true.
I always tried to put on a little bit more than what I would be at a playing weight because I knew my playing weight would be, about the first month into the season, I'd be there and I could at least maintain it.
Right.
You can only really get into the gym like once, twice a week.
So, what can we add to this? We're not experts in training, but we are around a lot of little leaguers and middle schoolers in terms of training them and giving them lessons. Tonight we were just with a couple of younger players,
Yeah.
bullpenning them and really kind of teaching them the fundamentals. We're big on fundamentals, but we also the father of the two boys that we worked with asked us about training. What should the kids be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is an area at this age, the little league age, 11, 12, 13, 14. So little league and middle school,
Yeah.
where it's like, should I get into some heavy weight training program? Should I go to a gym? Should I?
No set routine. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a phone call with a guy named Andrew who works with Cressey Sports Performance.
Yeah. Great guy.
Was phenomenal call.
Mm-hmm.
And we were asking him, just like we're talking now, I said, how can we help?
Yeah.
How can we direct people? And the first thing he said really was, if this is the off season for kids, for young players, he said they should get an FMS evaluation. You remember that?
Yeah.
And FMS, for those of you who don't know, is the functional movement screen. And so it's a tool that people use. There's 7 exercises that a certified trainer would put you through to rate you 0 to 3 for each of the 7, and then you come up with a score. And what it does is it tells a trainer or it tells the player or the parent, this is where your player is deficient and might be susceptible to injury.
Yeah, when you're making certain movements in baseball, throwing, hitting, running, I mean, you're making certain movements that if you lack some flexibility and mobility, it can hinder your ability to progress, and you'll be stuck or plateauing at, throwing 80 miles per hour, hitting the ball. Everybody wants to hit it over. I mean, but if you're
Right.
hitting it shallow in the gaps, I mean, there are things you can increase your power and your velocity with by not only getting bigger in the gym, but being really flexible and mobile with your body, your ligaments, your joints.
So maybe I didn't really explain it on the onset, but Cressey Sports Performance is the nd1 baseball strength and recovery training program in really the world. But all the top major leaguers go to them, and college players and such. And they have podcasts, the Elite Baseball Training Podcast. They have all these certifications for training the right way
Very
for baseball.
knowledgeable. Yeah.
You got to think about baseball as this way. You throw with one side, one hand, one arm. So you're kind of throughout the season, you're incongruent with your body movements, right?
Yeah.
You're so so dominant with one
Yeah.
side. Same thing with hitting, unless you're a switch hitter. And so you need to balance, and you need to recover, and you need to train properly, so you're not susceptible to injury. So I think the thing we wanted to get across to people is that if you're in that age of little league and middle school, there are things that you can be doing to get your body back in shape, so that when you do take up the game again, that you'll be better prepared. And let's
Yeah.
not forget the skills part. This is a great time to work on what skills wise.
Fundamentals. Hitting the ball off a tee, up the middle. It's a very fundamental concept.
Right. If you're working in the cage, stay in the middle of the cage.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah, working on skills. Skills are different than talent, right? So skills would be, something that you can work on, the fundamentals. You could work on, if let's say we pick fielding, you could work on how you field the baseball, different types of fields, the forehand, the backhand, straight on, charging the ball. Like there's different skills that you have to learn for different positions. And I think a lot of kids take it for granted that, I'll just do that during the season.
No, it's super important. I mean, catching, and I would do receiving drills, just catching the baseball.
Right.
Like as fundamental as that. Working on my blocking technique, doing dry reps.
Right.
Going out, we would go to the park and just take 50 fly balls, and then we wouldn't even throw them really.
Work on your route, your drop steps, stuff like that. So we're a big believer that in the off season, if you really want to get better at baseball, this is a great time to work on your skills, balance out your body. And we do recommend that you find a certified FMS evaluator who can help you with a custom program. One of the things that Andrew at Cressey Sports told us was they're not believers in just cookie cutter programs.
Right.
You go online and you'll see they'll write out a program for you and say, this is good for this age group. But the truth of it is what Andrew taught us was everybody's body is different. Everybody's in a different state of development. And so
there's an old school approach to all this. Not to say that one, you need this program to be successful. It's not all true,
Right.
Like growing up, you do have to eat, and you have to eat properly to gain muscle and work out.
You have to eat.
You do. You have to eat good foods.
It's okay.
It's not like a really hard equation to become bigger and hit the ball farther and to throw harder, but things have gotten easier. Would you say?
Easier in what way?
Easier to train, or easier to
more
find
access.
More access.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that in the past you had a lot of misinformation, overtraining. People just they get after it and they overtrain and they hurt themselves. We've seen a lot of that.
Definitely, a lot.
We've seen probably more undertraining than overtraining, but we do see both
for sure. But to go back to that, you don't need an in-depth program. That's not what we're saying. But if you want to take the next step and find a specific thing that works for you as a player, it can really benefit you. You're not doing wasted movements.
Right.
Like, I think growing up, if I had known, that I'm going to have to be in the gym 3 to 5 times a week and during these days, I would have been set up for success earlier than not knowing what I was going to do on a certain day.
Right.
And so, that's kind of what my experience was like, just coming into it and learning how to train properly.
Who taught you how to train properly?
I remember we worked out a little bit growing up when I was able to get in the gym, but then Coach Utley, he was our strength and conditioning coach at my high school, and he then he took me and a couple of my teammates and a couple other players from other schools, and in a small group setting during training hours, we would go and train for an hour, and we would get everything we needed to get in, speed training, strength training, mobility conditioning. I mean, you name it, we were doing it. And to be honest, that was the best I felt in December going into January for practice and getting ready to play in February. And I was, That was all you could ask
We
for.
learned a lot from Coach Brian, and he's a friend to this day. We see him occasionally. He's so busy with his young boys now. But yeah, he was a disciple of Cressey Sports. Of
Yeah.
Eric Cressey and their baseball. I think what really we just want to get across to the group here that watch and listen to us is that in the off season, make sure that first of all that you're protecting yourself or your son or your daughter. Because if your daughter or your son are training and just
Mm-hmm.
following older kids, they're probably going to get it wrong. I would say that is a really important thing: is protect your child from something. And I'll give you an example.
Right.
We
Yeah.
we knew of a player who used to take this heavy ball. And he would take it, and he was lefty, and he used to
There's things called jug balls. You train with them.
yeah.
Yeah, they got some weight to them. Yeah.
And there's a
Usually like a hard wall, concrete
hard
wall or
wall
something.
behind you, and he would jack his shoulder out like this and throw it back. And the idea was he was trying to get external rotation. And all he was doing was riding that ball up the socket and doing damage to his shoulder. And I tried to tell him, you're doing that wrong. Every time I see a kid doing an exercise wrong, I stop them. I'm like, you're doing that wrong.
Because they're going to do it over and over again.
Yeah.
And continue
And
to,
they,
yeah.
they roll their eyes at me. But I even if I don't know them, I stop them. I just figured I've seen too many kids get hurt. I'm just going to tell them, listen.
Try to explain why.
Yeah, trying to explain why. Some of them listen, I should say, but a lot of them are like, hey, they learned it from somewhere, and that's their rendition of it. But we want to protect kids, and so I think it's important. The FMS evaluation, big believers in it. Johnny and I are actually talking about getting certified for it. It's a little pricey, but I do think that this area needs more certification, and they need kids to go to an FMS certified trainer to get their score
Mm-hmm.
and see where they're deficient. So that was what Andrew told us. Start with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can maybe build a nice simple program for these younger athletes. Nothing too complicated.
Right. It doesn't have
they're
to be.
young. They don't need, they'll probably get serious about baseball when they get to high school, and they might get into a more serious program.
Yeah. And like you said, protecting your child, your player it's as simple as just doing a day you don't throw on is the day you're lifting, and the next day just maybe not throwing as much because you don't want your 2 days to conflict with each other where you're taxed out on the day you're lifting, and afterwards you can't really throw because certain muscle groups need to be cooled down instead of firing back up.
That's a good point. So, as we wrap this thing up, I think it's important that we just leave people with, this is the off season. Make sure you get some evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your ankles are weak. Maybe your shoulder
My ankle's always weak.
I know.
But I'm not playing. So.
Maybe your shoulders are an issue. Remember that little test that we did where you press down?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then remember when you found out when you had a shoulder issue?
Had to get surgery, yeah.
Yeah. All the doctor did was push down his shoulder, told Johnny to go up. He's a righty. Normally his right shoulder, right arm would be much stronger, but you went down. And he said, yeah, your shoulder's weak. Like, there are simple things that you can do to test where you're at. And so where we're recommending is that, find a certified trainer, get tested, see what your deficiencies are, come up with a simple program, whether it's a throwing program, off-season program, or strength and, mobility and recovery program.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably haven't said recovery enough, but it is important that the off-season is not just for getting strong, but from recovering from something that maybe you need to recover from.
Yeah, there are days you build in for recovery, like there's active recovery and there's recovering with days off where you just do something less physical, whereas active recovery is you're doing certain movements and certain activities that seem taxing, but they're not considered your actual training regimen. They're active recovery days.
So this
you're being active.
Yeah. So this was part one. This was more of a kind of introducing you to some thoughts for your younger athlete. Again, we're not experts, but we're studying it, and especially interested in those athletes that I think are unsupervised for a large degree. We see them doing things. We're like, who is supervising them? Are they on a weekly plan?
Yeah.
Do they have a plan for what they're doing? Or are they just showing up and doing stuff? But part two, I think, for us will be maybe moving more into specific plans that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Cressey was a big proponent of get tested, know where you're deficient, then tailor your program towards the individual athlete. They did not like cookie cutter stuff. So I think, for those of you listening or interested in this topic, we'll be studying it more. We'll do a part 2, something a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, talk a little more about what a training regimen could look like for a player. All the fundamentals that you could go through in an off season.
Yeah.
Just we can take it through like what a normal day looked like for you growing up and for me, and what it progresses to next.
Right.
Would be like an evolution. So.
Right. So this was another episode of All Things Baseball Podcast, episode 39. We are excited that you joined us and stayed the entire 21 minutes. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Is it 20 minutes? Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.